to the witching hour. Yes, the day when the veil is thin and magic happens. We have some beautiful magic for you today. She's a witch, she's an author, she is a divination goddess, the one and only Emerald Lotus, also known as Reed. Welcome to my show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I am excited to be here right at the beginning because you have a brand new book coming out just this week, right?
Yes.
Called Charm Divination. I'm kind of a divination girl myself, and I like that you do a lot with charms and things. So tell us a bit, where did this come from? Has this kind of just been your gig and then you wrote a book about it?
Well, as most things, it kind of came about by accident. I was originally a tarot reader, and so I got started learning tarot cards. It's been like a decade now that I've been reading. And when I started reading tarot in particular, I felt really lost. I was, confused on how to read it. I didn't take a course. I just had my deck and I thought, what am I supposed to do with all these cards? So for me, I'm someone that likes structure. To me, structure makes things make sense. And I thought if I have a layout, if I have real questions that I'm asking my tarot cards, I'll be able to learn them better. So I started making my own tarot spreads. And I figured while I was doing it, I just started sharing them online. So I thought maybe someone else will use them. That ended up doing really well. And I started a brand online, and so from there, I was really a tarot reader. That was my thing for a very long time. Still is. I still love reading tarot cards. But I got introduced to charm casting from my mother-in-law. She was at a kind of witchy symposium and met the wonderful Carrie Paris, who had a charm collection. I think her oracle charm kit is more focused on Lenormand, so it has more of a structured way that she reads her charms. And so I saw my mother-in-law's collection and I said, that looks so fun. I really want to start doing charm readings. But then, just like with the tarot, as I started reading charms, I wasn't following a system like Lenormand. I just had a bunch of random charms. And I thought, how on earth am I going to make this make sense for me? I don't know what I'm doing here. So I kind of did the same thing that I did with the tarot, where I decided to make a charm casting mat, like a little layout for myself, so that when I would cast my charms, I had little sections that the charms would fall in so I could actually easily understand the messages. And through there, I started sharing that also with people because I thought, hey, if someone wants to try charm casting, maybe the spread will be helpful for people. So, very much by accident, I just sort of do what works for me and then share it with other people. Other people seem to find it helpful. And so I wrote a book about this one in particular.
That is good. Coming out this week on Charm. So yeah, you have a good presence on social media, so you have a great following there. So that is good. And speaking of tarot, you offer all your tarot spreads free, right? You don't
Yes.
like
Yes. Ever since the beginning, I've been offering them free. I just figured I'm making them and using them. I might as well just share them with people. Why not?
I like that. So if somebody's going, okay, what exactly is divination? I mean, I guess you could explain divination, but what exactly is charm divination? If people think usually, oh, is tarot cards divination? Yes, a pendulum, working with your dowsing rod. So explain.
So it's similar to that in the sense that, yes, it is a form of divination where you'll be receiving messages, whether it's from your higher self, your spirit guides, angels, ancestors, whatever you really believe in. We're receiving messages from beyond the veil, essentially. And with charms, instead of having, 78 tarot cards or your oracle cards or runes, with charms, you're just having small little trinkets, kind of similar to what you have even on your necklace. I see you have like a pentacle there, which would be a perfect charm for charm casting. And so what you would do is you would grab your charms in whatever way makes sense to you. I usually keep them in a box with a little spoon. I'll go in and kind of scoop out a little scoop of them and I'll cast them on my surface, which is usually a desk. You can use a book, you can use an actual layout, and you'll be reading your messages that fall in that way. So it's very similar. I guess the most similar thing would be like bone casting. It looks a lot like bone casting in the sense that we're casting lots. Just instead of having bones, we have cute little trinkets, and usually they're more focused on like a metal alloy charm. But you can, of course, put anything in a charm kit, whether it's beads or coins, or you could put bones in there as well and mix everything together. It's very highly personalized.
I love that. So do you come up with the meanings yourself, like, oh, heart is love, or do you have standardizations of your suggestions are
I
that
do
people
have
use?
actually there's a big guidebook section at the end of my book actually that has hundreds of interpretations for people. And the interpretations that I have are mostly used from my own personal practice from spirit, but a lot of them are also traditional symbolism for whether it's an animal or a symbol or color. But yeah, and that's the nice thing about charm casting is there's not really a specific way to interpret the charms. It's really a path that you can define yourself. So I like to tell people, some people have specific symbols that mean something to them, right? Some people see a feather and they know, oh, that is my grandmother on the other side because that's how she shows up for me. So in your charm casting, if you have a feather and you set the intention that that's going to be my grandmother coming through, then of course, every time you see it, that's what it's going to mean for you in your reading. So it's a very personalized practice. And that's what I really try to get across in my book is that this practice is not something that you just show up to and follow the rules and it's very strict and there's only one way. It's really just a way of really deepening your understanding of symbols and also your way of picking up on intuitive messages.
I love so again, you put a guideline to this. I just got this. I'm so excited. Um, so do you look at things that like, okay, the heart is next to the little dollar sign or this or that. It's like your love is mixed up with your money with or is that how you help
Yes.
people read it?
100%, yes. And so you can kind of set the parameters that you want as well and let your intuition pick up on messages. So sometimes you might see a heart beside money and think, yeah, maybe this, I'm getting intuitively that this feels like X, Y, and Z. But the nice thing is that can change every single time because if you're reading for someone that's really focused on, I don't know, dating someone that has a lot of money, then when the heart comes up beside the money, it's going to mean something very different. So it's very fun because every charm reading is so different. And although you might have set intention for some of your symbols, the way that you read them and the way that you're practicing picking up on the intuitive messages can change every time, which makes it really fun and very unique.
That is good. So, I know this is how what I do. You talked about your classic junk drawer and finding things within it. So, what are some of the creative things people can use, and what do they are examples of what they can represent for them?
I've seen people use many different things at this point. I love to use coins because I think it's really fun. And in particular, I love using coins from different countries because then not only does it just represent like money or the tangible, but sometimes I see people say, "Oh, there was this coin that you had from Europe and I have a trip there." Like so then it can also pick up on different messages. So I love a coin because I feel like it has a multifaceted example. I've seen people use things like hair clips or bobby pins, a safety pin can represent, things being put together or, solving something, utilizing it to kind of put two things together. Similar with like a button as well. I've seen people use buttons and beads.
I love it. I love it. Um, on your site, I looked at your site, and it says that Emerald Lotus began as a blog. You started this out as a blog, right? Ending up in a book and a big social media. Um, what were you looking for something spiritually when you had that? Was just part of your path? Were you always a magical girl from youth, or did this something that just developed?
So for me, it was kind of a slow burn beginning, is what I would say. I grew up and I really didn't have much interest in religion. I got put in situations and I was always like, not for me, not for me. Spiritually, I was always interested in things beyond the veil, but I was never super, super invested in it. My mom would take me to go see mediums and we would do different things that I always loved, but I was always sort of a little step away from. It was never something that I had fully kind of went for. It was more of a sort of we do this for fun type of thing, and then we're happy about it, and we do it next year, and it's kind of one of those things. But at one point, I got introduced to dream work actually and meditation. And so by doing that, when I was about 17, I started to really understand the different levels of consciousness. And I started to kind of see mediumship and those things that I would do with my mom for fun as something that, hey, wait, maybe this is actually a little bit deeper than just showing up for a good time. And so that really sparked my path. I started going, just following little threads here and there that I thought was interesting, taking a course, doing this, eventually getting my tarot deck when I was in my early 20s and starting to try to read tarot. And tarot for me was really like the gateway drug. Like once I started reading tarot cards, it just was, I started that blog, started connecting with other people that were spiritual. And for me, I could never stop after that.
I love that. I love that, finding your path. And you started to say that you thought it was overwhelming in the beginning. So,
Yes. Yes.
um,
I found just generally spirituality was overwhelming at the beginning because and I think a lot of people find that whether it's through witchcraft or just spirituality generally, there's so many different paths. And it takes a long time, I think, to really find a path that makes sense for you, that you enjoy, that you want to research, that you want to go deeper in. And for me, tarot was incredibly overwhelming at the beginning, just because there's so many cards. We get upright, we get reversed, we have to be looking at how they work together. It was a lot for me, and I have a bad memory. I'm not somebody that just naturally can, remember everything. Sometimes my husband will look at a tarot card and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know the 5 of wands. That's this." And I'm like, "How do you even you've seen this card like 2 times. How do you remember that?" But me, it's like took me years to really try to like understand the system. And so by feeling so overwhelmed, I just figured if I'm going to learn it, I might as well share with other people and try to help other people and maybe get a little bit of help at the same time.
I love that. Now, you actually describe your readings as being honest, good, practical, and empowering. That's really important to me. So, what does that mean to you? Like, if somebody's going for a reading or something, an empowering reading as compared to one that actually isn't.
So for me, an empowering reading is one where we're not just lying. We're not just trying to like gaslight ourselves or, make something up that sounds amazing and wonderful. Sometimes the truth is not great, right? Sometimes like life is hard. There's hard lessons. There's negative experiences that happen. And so my readings definitely don't shy away from those things. Those are part of life. But at the end of the day, I like to try to see what our next step is. That's like my always my goal with my clients is like, okay, maybe this bad thing's happening, maybe this hard situation is going on, but what are the next steps? What can we actually do like within the next week, 2 weeks, months to get us out of this place and get you into where you actually want to be? And so I feel like a lot of my clients, that's why they come back for my readings because it is empowering to know that, like, yes, maybe something is challenging right now, or maybe I'm really uncertain about what I'm doing. But at least because of this reading, I got like the tiniest little bit of light to move forward. I always envision my readings like a lantern. It's not like a high beam that's like, giving everybody this view for the next 30 years, which some readers are really amazing at. That's not really my skill. Mine is more like, what is the next practical step we can do? Like within the next year, how can we really see movement in your life? And so that lantern, it lights a little bit of the next few steps, but it's not like, looking so far into the future.
I like that. I like that too because I don't my witchy side overshadows my psychic medium side. So if I tell you this is going to happen, it feels like I've taken away your power because you're going to believe me and it doesn't have to happen. That so I like that, shining a lamp on it versus the whole big spotlight. Do you because I don't. Do you read for yourself either your tarot or your charms?
I actually read for myself with charms a lot, but I don't read for myself with tarot that much anymore. Unless I'm like really going through it and I really need some help, but usually then I'll go to my own tarot readers and ask them. But I feel like when your emotions are so high, it's my intuition can't come through in the way that it does for my clients. What about you?
Yeah, same thing. I think I should try charms again, which I've always called it bone throwing, even though I don't have any bones in mine. But you have again, the little bit I've got to go through this so far, you have such great suggestions and ideas of things. But I don't same thing of tarot. I think for me, that's just I need to talk to spirit. I need to talk to my guides. I need to look at my own spirituality. And I for some reason I'm just too close for cards. But I
Mhm.
think if I have my little again, because they are so much more personalized, what they are for me, I'm gonna go try that. So
Oh, I love that. I hope it helps.
yeah. Also in your book, you literally talk about food and beverages as divination. So what's that about?
Well, the charms can be anything. And so I also do sell charm kits for people, whether it's a personalized kit or just like a mystery kit of little charms. And so through all the charms that I've collected over the years, I've noticed and I've had people ask me and they're like, you gave me this little lemonade charm once. What does that mean? And I'm like, and so I've had to actually sit with spirit, sit with my own readings and say, okay, what does this mean? And so I have a lot of really random symbols in my charm casting guidebook that are food, characters, colors, seasons, they're all interpreted and given keywords in my guidebook so that if you have charms of anything that you've collected, you should be able to find the answer in that book.
So you're not literally throwing bananas and apples and oranges, though that sounds
Sadly
very
not.
fun.
That does sound very fun,
It's
yeah.
finding little charms. Now, if you can't find a little charm of these different food things, do you have something represented, like a coin or a sticker or
You
something?
certainly could, yes. Whatever makes sense for you. I mean, you could even you do charm casting with just like small pony beads that were all different colors. And you could say, pink is for love and yellow is for when I'm gonna eat more fiber with my bananas. Like you can do whatever you want. And it's just the same thing. To me, this charm casting almost feels like the next step for people before they're able to just talk to spirit without needing a divination tool. Because at the end of the day, I firmly believe that like the divination tool is there because it's a nice way to have a narrative and to understand messages. But at the end of the day, we don't really need a divination tool. We really can just sit here and receive our
Right.
messages from spirit. So to me, the charm casting is sort of like taking off the training wheels a little bit of divination and starting to say, okay, I'm really starting now to really try to trust my intuition. And so that's why it's very flexible. So it's almost like the next the next kind of step with a divination tool.
I like that. I like that. I like the taking the training wheels off and learning to talk to spirit. Um, so what is the difference? I've seen people are a lot of people who watch or listen to the show are kind of new to this world and they're going, well, how do I learn to use that intuition? How do I tell the difference of intuition and my anxiety of not knowing how to do this or know what that card or that charm means?
That
It's your I have my empathic or sensitive stuff like that. How
Yes, that is a challenge, and that is definitely one of the first steps. I do really go over that in the book as well for different methods to connect with your intuition, different grounding practices, different ways that you can. So really, the charm book, although it is charm divination, it really does also focus a lot on connecting with your own intuition. And I think there are tons of different ways that you can do that, which I do explore a lot in the book. But generally, I think that giving yourself time is one of the most important things that I think people don't talk about enough. We expect that we can just sit down with a divination tool or sit down at our altar and that the messages are just going to, drop from the sky and that we're just going to receive them. And sometimes we're just not ready to receive them either in that moment and we might need to come back another day, or sometimes we just need to give it space. To sit with it, to breathe with it, to look at whether it's a divination tool or we're just receiving messages. So I think that like time and patience is a really, really good one for beginners because you feel like it should just be a download, especially when you see someone that is really skilled at, being a psychic medium or a divinatory reader. We see them and some people are very, very quick. It's just immediate download, especially when you're used to it. You can become very fast at it. And so I think for beginners, they expect that they're just going to sit down and, receive messages. And when they don't, a lot of people get frustrated and they want to give up or they say, this isn't for me. I'm not good at this. Kind of what I did with the tarot at first. I thought, well, I don't remember these cards. I guess I'm not good at it. I could never be a tarot reader. And so, really, what I want to remind people of is that sometimes you just need to give yourself a little bit of time and space. And, this isn't something that you're just going to be able to do within an hour of working with it, right? This is something that you can show up to daily or weekly or monthly for the next many, many years to improve on that type of skill.
I love that. So for somebody, it's easy to go time and patience, but people are like I don't have time. Is there any? Do you have any rituals or exercises or techniques for people to learn to tune into that intuition? Or
I
do
think
you have any practices you suggest again for somebody just going, I need to try this?
Definitely, I'm a really big fan of deep breathing for myself. Doing breath work, I think, is one of the most important things, especially because our minds are so active. And a lot of the time, we need to drop into our body and to really allow our heart rate to slow down, allow our mind to slow down. So, one of my favorite things is to also understand how you receive messages. And so, in the book, it really goes deeper into that. But I think that we all have different senses that work really well. Some people are really good at feeling things in their body. Other people are really good at hearing things in their mind or seeing things visually. And so I think that understanding how you receive intuitive messages is a really good starting point. And that's a very easy practice to do some simple rituals, meditations to receive messages and just understand how you process information and how information can come through.
I love. So how does somebody okay, so since you are a really good, and I love that, social media presence, you host spiritual chats with Emerald Lotus, right? Um, how do people like all the witch talk through this? How do you have how do you how how do you suggest people learn how to like not get swallowed up by just trends or these baby people who don't know what they're talking about. And again, maybe that's looking at your intuition the same way because you give good, beautiful advice to people, studied, educated, experienced, but that's not everybody.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that compliment, by the way. That's very sweet. But I think a big part of it is also stepping away from social media. As much as I love social media because it connects people and we can learn new things, I think there is also a big importance in understanding the real world, like the world outside of social media. And so taking what you learn on social media with a grain of salt and trusting your own intuitive feeling about things as well. If somebody says something that to you feels a little off or there's something that, I'm not sure I'm really vibing with that. I'm not sure I really agree with that. I think it can be really nice to kind of step away from social media and see how you feel about it. Think about it, maybe talk to people that you trust. I think having like a witchy group or people that you can find that you can connect with in person can be one of the best things. Just because I think having that real person to person way of communicating and experiencing witchcraft and spirituality, I think is a lot easier. And it's easier to kind of find that trust in person, whereas online, especially now with like AI and stuff, we don't even know who's even a real person
I don't.
anymore, which is very scary.
Yeah, we we don't. I've seen me talking and it wasn't me and nothing I'd ever said before. Talk about feeling invaded. It's like,
That's scary.
and the me kept saying, trust me. And like, it is a spooky world. So I guess it's just trusting that thing. But again, thank you for what you are bringing. So, um, what is next? Do you have? What is your next project? What do you want? What is next for Emerald Lotus?
Honestly, I've given it all up to spirit. Like, I used to be someone that was very obsessed with figuring out the next step and knowing what I was doing. And I feel like over the past few months, I've just said, you know what? I don't know. I don't know. I don't really care. Also, I trust that wherever I end up is where I'm meant to go. So right now I'm just focusing on this book. I'm focusing on continuing to do my private readings and to post content that I like to share. And I'll see where the wind takes me.
I love that. I love that too. You guys, this coming out just this week, Charm Divination. And again, I'm excited to dive much deeper into it. There is charts and explanations and just amazing things in it available starting next week everywhere. So if people want to know more about you, um, your website, social media, where they can find you doing all your magic online, where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram and TikTok at Emerald Lotus Mystic, and then I also have 2 websites actually, sadly, kind of broken up into 2 different platforms. I also have an Etsy shop, I guess, technically. So I have my shop that I sell things at, which is emeraldlotusmystic.com, and then I have sort of like my free blog where all my tarot spreads are, all my free resources, and that's emeraldlotusdivination.com.
That's beautiful. So you guys like her, follow her. Um, is there play? Do you have any like? It's so early. Any book signings coming up or anything like that? If you're,
No, because most of my people are online. So, I've got people that I connect with all over the world. I'm not really I move around a lot. I've moved to many countries over the past few years. So my stuff I'm trying to we're doing it all online with this one.
I love it. So you do where the wind blows, right? Where the wind
Yes,
blows,
literally.
where the wind blows. I think that is beautiful. Well, thank you for blowing here to the witching hour and bringing your truly beautiful magic. I'm gonna go add to my trinkets to make myself something more personal and go do a nice little spread for myself.
Nice. I
So you
love
guys
that.
check it out. Read AKA Emerald Lotus. This is going to be available everywhere next week, right?
Yes.
From Llewellyn, a Llewellyn publisher. From go whenever you can, go to your brick and mortar stores if you can, your little shops, your little witchy shops, metaphysical shops, occult shops, and of course there's the Amazon and the everything else in the world. Check it out, you guys. You're gonna love it. So thank you. Any last words of wisdom for anybody before we go?
No, I just want to thank you so much for having me. It's been so much fun.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You were great. I'm very excited. So see you next time on the witching hour.